Thanks for staying with us. We are turning our attention back to the U.S., where the nation's former president, Donald Trump, is billed for judicial scrutiny over charges of mishandling national security files in a court in Florida. For more on former U.S. President Donald Trump's indictment, global affairs analyst Kunle Falowo joins me now from the U.S. state of Indianapolis. Good to have you join us.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Now, this is the second time this year that Trump has been charged with a crime, but the first time ever prosecution against a former U.S. president. What can we expect from this?
Yes, so definitely this is a precedent. Uh, it's happening during a time where there seem to be electioneering activities going on in the both two leading political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. Um, one thing that needs to be emphasized most importantly is the fact that there needs to be respect for the rule of law, and then we also understand that the law is a respecter of nobody, and that doesn't exclude the former presidents of the United States from the scenario. If he's found wanting, he needs a day in court to prove otherwise. Um, the allegations against former President Trump is very, very huge and very unprecedented. He needs he has claimed that he was innocent, but until further proved otherwise, he needs to go to the court and tell the jury why he had those concealed documents or state government, federal government's documents, you know, document that's not supposed to be at his offices, at his resort, found in there. He needs to testify and tell them why it's there and why it's not there.
Hmm. And you've mentioned already that these indictments are coming in an electionary year. So what is the sentiment likely to be from voters, whether especially the independents?
Well, the very people, or the very supporters of Mr. Trump, the diehard fans that they will call themselves, will never attest to the fact that this is a serious national security concern. It's a political witch hunt, like they would call it. But then again, we have to look at the precedents. We also do know that current president, Mr. Joe Biden, had some issues with his son, Hunter Biden, and some informations that was found on his laptop. And that is also a discourse in the midst of this. And some people are also accusing Mr. Joe Biden of politically witch hunting and using federal government apparatus or security operatives to hunt former President Trump. But be that as it may, there is no parallels between both accusations, and also we need to remember that there were earlier this year there were reports of uh, documentations belonging to the U.S. government that was found in the private library of Mr. Joe Biden, and a lot of people are kind of drawing parallels on both ends, but it's really not the same if we really look at it. So Mr. Trump needs to be at the court to talk about how those documentations were there. That's the first thing. And then there were some other scenarios where they had recorded some private conversations that Mr. Trump had and had intentionally concealed those documents. So he needs to be at the courts to kind of clear himself out.
There has been, people have been trying to draw the parallel between this particular case, the one of the President Biden, as well as former Vice President Pence. But let's talk about America. We saw what happened after the last election when Trump refused to accept defeat. Some of his supporters became violent. I know you've mentioned the national security implications of this, but America has been a deeply divided country in the wake of that election. What happens now to the unity of that country, especially with the fact that there are many more cases against former President Trump?
Well, so for former President Trump, his base is really growing. One thing that I will also try and remind our audience is, um, he's been raking in a huge amount of money, in donations, a small and large amount of donations that's coming in because of this court cases. Diehard supporters are bringing in money to the coffers of Mr. Trump, and he's still very, very liked among the Republican Party. And by the way, he's also the leading contender in the 2024 primaries in the Republican Party, and there haven't really been any other candidate that's been matched as far as the popularity among the Republicans' core supporters in the Republican Party. So he has a lot of political weight, and we know that Mr. Trump knows how to kind of, take out this narrative and personalize it, and he now will look like the one that's been attacked, and he will turn it to a witch hunt or whatever you want to call it. So there's so many things at stake. The rule of law is at stake. The choice for the nomination for the presidential candidacy in the Republican Party is also at stake. There seems to be a lot of contentions within the party as far as looking for a replacement for Mr. Trump, but that is not working because his core fans are still with him within the Republican Party. So yes, we still have to look out for how it's going to go down within the Republican Party as it is.
Following that story, thank you so much for talking to us, global affairs analyst Kunle Falowo.
Thank you.